I think this is one of the most troubling components of all of AI filmmaking for me is that I think it's part of what drives sort of both all or nothing conversations is that there's $1 trillion of marketing saying AI is going to take over everything. So there's $1 trillion going into saying, like, every conversation about AGI from, Sam Altman in very hushed, gentle tones, he's actually saying to your boss, like, hey, I'm gonna let you fire, I'm gonna let you fire Dan and Chris and Rob and Ben.
Welcome to another CG garage where the monstrous moon shines. We're building new Hollywood like in 1971's prime. From Alta's bold dreams to AI's fever dream, where tech meets the silver LED screen. Pixels and passion are pipelines unknown. Two hosts, one show on a deadline postponed.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the CG Garage. This is episode number 535, featuring two people who are returning, and we're creating a panel again this time. It is with Mr. Rob Nederhorst and Mr. Ben Hansford. You guys all know Rob. He is a veteran of the visual effects industry, a long time friend of mine. He's been a VFX supervisor on such amazing films as John Wick 3 and Conjuring and many more. You guys also will know him as the guy in the green screen suit in our Ray Tracing for the Wins short. He is a fantastic, very funny person. Love this guy, and very opinionated about some really incredible stuff. But honestly, I take his opinion very seriously. I think he's really great. And of course, Mr. Ben Hansford, he's been on before. He is a good friend of ours, a very close friend of my co-host, Daniel Thron. And he is a very successful commercial director and has done some amazing work there. He is also a professor at USC and teaches a class on how to use AI in filmmaking, which is fascinating. Definitely a big subject that we discuss here. But also, Ben, we've worked with Ben as well. He was our assistant director on Ray Tracing for the Win. And honestly, a guy who has been helping us guide us on how we need to do a lot of our work. So I really appreciate Ben. And I always take his advice very seriously as well, too. They're really great to have on. We decided to have a panel to discuss a lot of things, specifically about how AI tools are being used and how we need to move away from these lens tests, as we all call them. And we'll get into that a little bit. We also talk a lot about, what's going on in terms of the industry, in terms of how the directions are going. We actually disagree on those several things, which I think is good to be able to have different opinions on how things are. We discuss terms like AI slop. And what that means is we just call all things that are AI slop, or is it specific things that are happening in AI or how they're being used? That was a good conversation. And as well as my favorite subject, the term good enough, and how that needs to be, and how we just need to get rid of the term good enough in terms of filmmaking, and how we should just thrive to do something better than good enough. Then we also have a big conversation about budgets, which is also an extremely important thing, and about finishing. Oh my God, there's so much discussion going on here. I'm sure you will appreciate all of it. Okay, in terms of announcements, I will be at the HPA retreat, which I'm very excited about. That is happening on February 15th through the 19th, which I believe is the week after this podcast comes out. So hopefully I will be able to see you guys there. I'm going to bring my podcast gear with me so I can record some episodes while I'm there. But for now, please enjoy episode number 535 with Mr. Rob Nederhorst and Ben Hansford.
This episode of CG Garage is sponsored by CenterGrid Virtual Studio. Wondering why you went to film school just to be stuck managing hardware life cycles? CenterGrid delivers end-to-end GPU-accelerated cloud workstations built specifically for VFX and creative production, with flat, predictable pricing and personalized support from people who actually get your workflow. Plus, CenterGrid is TPN Gold Shield certified, so your studio's security is locked down. Check out what Virtual Studio can do for your pipeline at cgvirtualstudio.com. This episode of CG Garage is sponsored by Kitbash 3D, one of our favorite tools and an essential tool for 3D artists everywhere. With the largest library of cinematic quality, production-ready 3D assets, Kitbash 3D ensures that your studio has the tools to build stunning environments quickly, efficiently, and at scale. Design detailed worlds in a fraction of the time without compromising on quality. Head to kitbash3d.com and use the code CGGarage at checkout for 10% off any kit. Again, that's kitbash3d.com, code CGGarage.
I will start with a little banter story that was pretty funny. Yesterday, I went to the Dolby Theater to watch Blade Runner with
my
a
God.
live orchestra.
Yep.
That's insane. The Dolby's in Burbank, yeah? That's the
No. The Dolby Theater in
the
Hollywood.
actual Dolby, the Dolby
actual Dolby
Theater.
They're like
The
where they have the
Dolby's
Oscars.
Dolby Theater. Okay,
Yes.
like yeah.
And I was sitting there with my wife and her friends, and we were watching a movie during the intermission, and I get a text message from Darren Grant with a picture of me like zoomed in.
That's amazing.
And then she sees Paul it's like it was such a VFX shot. I saw Todd Perry there, Paul DeBevick was there, like they're all just like, oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
incredible.
That's our crowd, man. That's our crowd.
For sure.
But it was interesting. Todd was there and he says, I've seen this movie so many times, decided that this time I'm going to count all the visual effects shots. That movie has 56 visual effects shots.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
Mm.
It has a bigger footprint in my mind.
Yeah, samesies.
Yeah.
Samesies.
Man, that's fast. I'd love to do that test with someone. That's an awesome way to look at it. I mean, certainly I've seen that movie so many times. They could have the live orchestra up there and me doing all of the lines. Into the microphone.
Yes.
For sure. So
I almost was shouting the lines as they were coming on. I was like, I can't be that guy.
Yeah.
But
But it really does. I mean, what you're saying really does show you would like any big movie today has like many hundreds, if not thousands.
They do like 200 just for wire removal and
for
tracker
wire.
removal.
Right, exactly.
What
And
percentage of that? What
Black
percentage of
non-visual
that
effects.
though is
Sorry,
simply
interrupt, go ahead.
the length of shots now, right? So like
Yes,
if every
true.
shot on average right
Yeah.
now is about 2.5 seconds,
Mhm.
and in Blade Runner it was like 15 minutes,
Oh,
which I love, right?
Yeah,
But I'm
that's
just thinking,
right.
I was like, oh yeah, like that opening shot is technically one shot, right? Like there's a good 30 plus seconds of gorgeousness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And but it really does, like if you have two great shots that really speak to each other, then your brain fills in all the shots you don't see.
Yeah.
And I think that's like Blade Runner's world building has always been legendary because it's really explicit about showing you everything. Same with like it's storytelling as well. It's like Tyrell Corporation, something about robots, and that's pretty much it when you get into that movie.
And we always knew that the music was very powerful, but when you have it with a live orchestra, it just sort of like resonates a little bit more, and it's like, there's a lot of like bells, right? Like ding, 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 ding. It's like you can see the guy like do the sound. And then there was an actual singer because there's some singing that's going on in the score as well. And she like was belting it out. I'm like, holy shit, it's way more powerful. It's like she's dying through the thing, like, and like, and music. I was like, this is so powerful. And it was there's a couple of realizations. That one is like, that was a really great one that I noticed. And the second one was, I was talking to Pamela, who's like very close friends of my wife over at Photocam. And she does a lot of she's an executive there, does all the bidding. And I realized like, you guys have been so busy with film. So much film has been shot in 2025. And they're like, we could not be like, and first of all, apparently, Chris Nolan, that's a huge project. Obviously, it's the largest IMAX ever done. And it was just, it's like so much stuff is shot on one battle after another was shot on VistaVision. I didn't even realize that, And so film somehow is coming back. So somehow, the reason I'm bringing this all up is going back to Blade Runner and film, and we just watched a piece from the cinematographer of One Battle After Another, and how he was basically channeling movies like The Last Detail and The French Connection. And I was like, that's it, right? Like, this is what we have been saying. Like, there is this rebellious group that's going back to the 70s and saying, this is the style that I want to get back to in terms of filmmaking. And it's sort of an interesting moment. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to use old techniques like film, but it means that you want to achieve something more interesting that people are like, they're tired of the just spit it out stuff, right? So with that, go. So Rob, you have always been, I know Dan and Ben have very much been, get it done filmmakers. But Rob, you've always been like the most cutting edge, whatever. If it breaks, awesome. kind of guy, right? Like just try it and make sure, try everything. What is your take now? Like, how do you feel that this industry is like going to start using this stuff in a more practical way to actually get things done?
It's
And not just a hype machine.
of course. I mean, any technology is going to have a large amount of hype at the onset because people are going to do things that they couldn't do 20 minutes before they touched whatever this incredible new technology is, right? The internet is one of those things. Computer graphics, which, you know, the four of us are somewhat familiar with, is also one of those things. Was it used for, you know, poor quality material? Hey, we're all guilty. Was it used for super high quality material? We're guilty of that too.
Yeah.
You know, were pencils used for garbage at the you know,
Yeah.
that's kind of, and to kind of go back, I want to retread a little bit on what you were just talking about. You know, some of these films, let's take a look at some of the more successful films of 2025, at least in my mind, right? Sinners, Weapons, One Battle After Another. These are super unique stories that have never been told before.
Marty Supreme.
Marty Supreme. These are
Bone
unique.
Temple.
Exactly.
Bone Temple. Yeah, I can't wait to see Bone Temple. Yeah.
Bone Temple. Yeah.
There's, but even that, like, that's like a, you know, that's part of a already existing universe. I'm talking.
But these things have real like flavor. Like they have individual flavor to them. Like
totally.
Yes.
Right. Like these films are super unique, and I have this suspicion that there is the audience fatigue isn't about going to the theater because we're starting to see metrics that younger folks. I say that as an old man. Right over here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's right. I didn't call you an old man. Not yet. It's coming.
No, I'm feeling it. The vibe is coming through. It's good from all of us.
I love it. I love it. There is this connection that I have a friend of mine who is he's like 23, and he and his friends, they physically go to the theater. Why? They like spending time doing that, and they go out and they talk about the movie afterwards. I don't know if that
We never did that before. We didn't do that for the last 20 years.
Literally, that's what, you know, the four of us have done together independently with our friends, with our families. This is coming back. This experiential
when you see a movie
part
that
of the world.
you want to talk about, you want to talk about it with your buddies. That's what you want to do. Like when you see something that is totally forgettable, you don't have anything to say about it. So there's less.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the...
Yeah. The two go together, right? Which is like you need that third space to talk about it, right? You need to walk out of the theater with your wife or your friend or whomever and chat about it. I think the third space is important. And then also too, I would put some weight on the fact that going to the theater increases that film's value in your mind. Above and beyond in every way, not just optically, not just audially, but just emotionally. You've made that journey. You've sat in the dark room. You've turned off your phone. You've turned off your phone, by the way. That's another one. I'm with you, Rob. I think these things are always going to be strong components.
Now, all you know that I'm a crazy defender / worshiper of Michael Mann's Miami Vice, which I have watched countless dozens of times now. My son and I went to go see it at the Egyptian, right? And he was just like, I know you love this movie. Let's go. It's gonna be great. And we were like, oh, it's the Egyptian on a Tuesday night or whatever it is. And we're just like, oh, but like the people who are there, whoever shows up is gonna be a Michael Mann fan at least. So this will be fun.
Yeah.
It was fucking sold out. Like 100% Miami Vice obsessives, right? And if I thought I loved that movie before, like the unbelievable amphetamine directly into my eyeballs experience of being there with a crowd who is also in love with it.
Yeah.
Like from the opening shot when it cuts in on the dancer, like everyone was like, bah! Like lost their minds.
Yeah.
You know, I heard people in the end actually like 2 rows down crying, and it was louder than I was crying. Like that's like, that is the joy of this stuff.
As you walked out, did your son ask, Dad, what's cocaine?
Is that like any?
It's
Well, no, they were doing this. What? What's going on?
What are you talking about?
To go back to your comment about talking about movies, I remember this was like 15 years ago. As a good friend of mine, he was a key grip on some big movies, right? And he was working on one of the Spider-Man movies, like a big one like that. And everything was going wrong because someone built part of the set pieces not out of film, but out of real stone. So they had to get a crane to lift it just so they can put some track down, you know? And it was just this whole thing. And it's like, we're going to be behind schedule. And he was panicking about it. And the DP came up to him and said, "Greg, relax. You know what people are going to say after they see this movie?" And he goes, "What? What do you want to do for dinner?"
right. This is the thing. I want to run this by you. Like that, we had a great discussion on our Discord the other day. I thought of a better way to even phrase this. Movies, because like the idea is that like movies are somehow enhanced by being on the big screen with lots and lots of people. I would argue that is actually the primal state of movies. That that is what you should be doing. Anything else is simply diminishing this. Like that's like this is the sun, and you're standing right in front of it. And yeah, you can go 100 miles back and put a blanket over your head, and like still say like I'm looking at a sunset. But this is the actual source right here. It's not just the movie. It's the social. It's the social experience. It's sharing this with everybody else. Because like I feel like movies are about that sharing. Like it's like as an artist, it's about sharing these ideas, and as a receiver of a movie, it's about sharing the experience. And so being right up in it is something that younger audiences haven't been able to experience thanks to COVID for many years. And to see them light up, to say what you're saying, Rob, is to see them plug into that is extremely exciting.
My son wanted one of those AMC Prime passes for his birthday, right? That's so he can go to the movies all the time, right?
Awesome.
So listen, I do want to, so like we said, we just got the news as of this recording. Today, we just got the news about the Oscar nominations, and it's very clear that we're in that zone of New Hollywood, right? Sinners has got more nominations than any other movie, right? And to think that Sinners is like this compared to like, what it used to be like with Out of Africa or whatever, you know what I mean? Like we now are like, no, a vampire horror film
exactly
has 16 Oscar nominations, right?
Yeah.
And
one
then
battle
one
after
battle
another,
after
action
another.
comedy.
Weird and awesome, right? And then you got Begonia that's kind of in there, which is very weird. Marty Supreme is in there. And there's even Weapons. The what's her name has got a nomination for Weapons as well. So it's pretty amazing.
Oh, this is great.
So we've all been in the tech world for a while, and we know that technology has been like, oh, we're going to use technology to solve this problem. And we've been talking about how AI is going to solve this problem, or at least the tech people have been talking that way and making these promises that honestly has gotten people worried about the industry in general, right? And so they're like, oh, this is terrible. We can't use AI for this. We can't use AI for that. We go onto social media and all I see is AI slop, and it's really embarrassing, right? It's really, really embarrassing. So the point I wanted to make last time is like, we're done with seeing how good Will Smith looks like eating spaghetti, right? I want to know what is out there. And any one of you can answer, or you guys can talk over each other. I don't care. But what is out there? What is the world going to look like where this actually becomes practical and useful for real filmmakers to make movies like Sinners or One Battle After Another and make it worthwhile and affordable and accessible?
I mean, I can start simply because our Allstate. So I did a commercial for Allstate. College bowl game spot, which was super fun. It's funny because we're in the camera test stage. We're in the the DSLR movement, right? Same thing. We're in the DSLR movement, so we're in the camera test stage of the DSLR movement, where everyone's got to
explain the impact like a little bit. We know what that is, but unpack that for the listeners a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What do you mean?
So when I was in film school, the big thing was everyone was shifting over from mini DV cameras to DSLRs, Canon 5D, Canon 7D, these sort of mirrorless cameras that have been designed to be incredible digital cameras, but they also shot great video, and they allowed you to change the lenses. So suddenly you could bring lens conversations into your life. And that became a really big movement. And there were a lot of players in that. But when you look back, you realize all they were doing were posting camera tests, right? They were showing you like, look how rich this bokeh is. And by the way, that was actually 80% of them. So I don't have to go on much more. It was mainly bokeh.
Like, look how like a bee is in focus, but the background's out of focus. And in this one, the leaf is in focus and the bee is out of focus.
Cool. Right? And even though you're never going to shoot anything with this much bokeh ever, look how much bokeh I got. That's nuts. So we went through those test phases, and, you know, a couple of things that I see as similarity is like, one, and we all know this, you know, Rob, you mentioned story, and Danny, you mentioned experience. Like all of the things that film is really about still haven't shown up in the tests. And so the one thing I would caveat against, Chris, is like, I sort of hate the word slop simply because it's too easy, right? It's too easy. We've all been in VFX review sessions where someone's got a laser pointer and you're on a 67-foot, you know, silver screen, and they're going, oh, whoa. You see the pixel in the top left corner? I think that's happening with AI video right now, where when you can see it, you call it out. And the word slop is so wonderful and pejorative. It just gets dropped on these things. Yeah. But like my Allstate commercial, we used AI in, I think, a very artistic way to handle a lot of budgetary and location problems. And it's gorgeous and it plays. And we used real athletes, and I shot them with, you know, my VFX knowledge met my AI knowledge and fell in love under my director hat. So I would just argue against, you know, I think right now the term slop is coming up a lot because what we're seeing is a lot of tests. But I have a commercial that won a Cannes Lion that has AI all over it. Right. Only no one knew. Right. So I think I would just, for me, I'm trying to be careful about calling things slop.
Because AI slop becomes a one word, meaning AI is slop. Like whatever, like if I know that this is AI, even if I formerly thought it was beautiful, now if I know it's AI, it is now slop. Like, which is a bizarre sort of thing for it to happen in someone's head. It's like finding out, like, well, I used to like this movie very much, but I found out this guy is a murderer, and now I don't like the movie. Like, the movie is always the movie. And
when I'm saying slop, I'm not actually saying whether it's good or bad. What I'm saying slop is I'm not talking about the AI. I'm talking about what's being made with it, right? Because if you go onto social media and you basically see 25 videos of a cat making a baby stop crying by getting in a crib with it, which is all AI based, right? And there's a million of them, or whatever it is that they're doing to try to just get you to click on it and say, how cute, how adorable. Yeah. I can't believe this happened. That baby's like, it's not real, right? Yeah. That's what I'm calling the slop.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, the slop is slop regardless of, like, there's like, it's not like slop came along with AI. Yeah, like there has always been slop, you know.
But
like
AI makes it much easier to make slop.
This is what I was going to say. It's like, what is the way, do you guys think, to try to separate that more in the audience's mind, just as part of the discussion? Because I think that is really, it's such an issue to be like, like, because when I look at it, it's like there's Photoshop slop. There's, you know, like the entire front end of most streaming services is slop. Like, it's like you're not going to watch any one of these movies and you just scroll through 100 of them and all the thumbnails look the same. That is slop. But I would also say I feel weird. And tell me how you feel about this. I feel weird that we're so hard on slop when we also love slop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we were picking this out to be like, this is, I would never, this is very bad. Also, I'm going to watch Love is Blind, all X many seasons of this.
That's it. This porn has no story.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, we want a little bit of Doritos in our life. And I think that that's totally valid. But trying to say that everything, like things that are legitimately beautiful, are Doritos because of the tool.
Well, and it's so early, right? Like, we're so early in this phase of, you know, like, I think you go rewatch the Lumiere brother film, like any of their films, right? You rewatch their films and technically they're slop, right? Train comes into station, or, you know, like, it's just car, like, we're in
Lens
that phase.
tests.
Lens tests, yeah. Lens tests.
We're in the lens test phase. And so I think that's the other thing is I think it's so nascent, but yeah, to me, Chris, I would just argue like it is
Okay,
already
so lens test. Let's call it lens test instead of slop. But what gets us out of that? What gets us out of the lens test? What gets us out to practical? What's
real,
the thing? That's
real
gonna make it?
people, right? So I'm a human, which probably some people would debate that pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And for me, the minute I see an AI person, I'm out. I'm out because there's an emptiness. There's no soul to that creation.
It is a weird. It is a weird
work for
uncanny
you.
valley, right? It's a very different because I've been dealing with uncanny valley for years, and it was like whatever. This is a like a vacantness to it, as opposed to the zombiness to it. Right?
May I add one thing, and please react to this? I also feel that way with shitty acting.
Of course. it is the same, right? And that's why performances that are good, really, I mean, that's why we have awards for excellent performances.
Right.
I was on a call yesterday with a director who I've worked with before on a film that I'm working on. And I said, hey, have you seen the Glenn Powell show that, where he's a football player, et cetera, et cetera. The name, of course, is escaping me literally as I'm talking about it.
The one where he's, he's come back. Only he's
Chad Powers is the name of the show.
Chad Powers, yeah.
And the director who writes and directs films, he goes, that looks like just a dumb show. I go, you know what? There's room for dumb shows that don't take up a lot of brain power. You're tired at the end of the day. You don't want to watch an Inception or a Tenet where your focus has to be laser or else you're done. Right. And I love those films. This is not a rebuke of those movies. Those movies are.
Oh, honey, it's been a long day. Let's just kick back, relax, and crack out Schindler's List.
Let's crack out a Tenet.
Wait. We used to joke about this. It's like on a Saturday afternoon, are you going to watch Sophie's Choice or Overboard? Overboard.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, watch this show because at some point it turns from this kind of time waster. It's not really a waste of time, whatever. It's like it absorbs your time and then it flips and the writing gets better. And at the last two episodes, the writing is very interesting. The characters are super interesting. They change things about, and I'm going to totally avoid spoilers. I don't know if you guys are going to watch it. Doesn't matter. But for any audience members here. And then at the very last episode, there is stuff that happens. And I was like, and at some point, I literally pointed to the screen. I was like, and this is why AI will not make it. This is why it's shit. Do you see what's happening? I go, holy shit. I was blown away. One of the young ladies in there does a level of performance. I was like, I did not expect that from her. And she crushed it. And I'm now 100 times more engaged with this show. And I am super annoyed that this is really the season finale because I want another episode.
Well, I love what you're saying about the lead in, because I think this works on a number of levels. It's just like you can actually be brought in with Doritos and end up eating a real meal. Like that could be like there's the sort of the hors d'oeuvre phase of a work of art. Where you're like, I love tiny sausages, and then by the end you're like, well, actually, this is very well, this is very well prepared. I think that there's a level of that in, in terms of AI, and in terms of AI visual effects or any of this stuff, like there's a novelty aspect, of course, that is super valuable. Like that is what most people. That's why what all of Sora is. Right. And I feel like that most people, I really feel like most people in the country don't care at all whether things are AI. Like they're perfectly entertained by, like I'm flipping through my phone and I'm seeing stuff like this. But being able to do things that are novel is what gets you into, say, a movie theater. Correct. Right? And what really makes the difference is whether you deliver something good when you get them in the theater. Right. Yeah. And I feel like because like what I always talk about is like when people complain about, CG ruins movies, right? Like I swear to God, it's the screenplay that ruins the movie. Like 100%. Sure. Like this is what happens. And so you go to see it like when producers are like, oh, these idiots will watch anything. Just make another robot movie. And it doesn't matter if the screenplay is any good. Like the thing is like, I'm going to go see this because I want to see robots. Like, that's true. So you better give me the robots. That's what I'm paying for. That's the Doritos part of the show. But if you also make a good robot movie, I'll see it twice.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that is the mindset where, for all this stuff, getting people in because it's cool. Like, this is neat. But then remembering that you're really there to deliver a story is what gets you through lens test land.
Yeah.
Like, you need to do the other half. That's the actual important part.
And it doesn't even need to be complicated.
What does the tool need to be? I mean, you mentioned real people. Rob, that's a fantastic example. I like that one. Let's keep that one there. What's another example of what the tool needs to do to be practically used? And Ben, you've definitely been using these tools. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, do you mind if I back us up a little? Actually, I think one of the traps we can fall in is talking about this as though this tool is all or nothing.
It's not.
No, exactly right.
That Deakins can only shoot 1917 on the Alexa with this one anamorphic 40 millimeter lens, and only that one. Like, no, there's this foxhole shot, and so he was using a GoPro, and we did a thing, and No Country for Old Men, we used heat vision and thermal, and I think the trap that we tend to fall into right now with AI is it's an all or nothing conversation. And even Rob, by the way, when you mentioned performance, I'm massive on human performance. It's what I could tell a story about how we ended up with like these incredible athletes that we did, but it was all the focus on the human and their delivery and their personality and their physical capabilities. But, you know, at what point, and I'll just call it framing, at what framing do you no longer need a human for an establishing shot of the detective enters the police precinct?
Well, that's what doubles do, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
so we have digital doubles do it. We've had stand-ins do it. We've had, what I'm getting at is like, there's probably a spot where I can have AI walk someone into a building, just literally like the last 3 steps up to the courthouse. And that's not going to throw you off.
Right.
Maybe
it's to come back to a spot of like, I think there are absolutely crucial needs for talent, but to all or nothing that there has to be talent for everything in every shot.
For instance, like if you take any visual effects shot, like people think of like I have trouble talking to people about the CG is bad problem when like, what do you mean by CG ruins something? Like, do you know what takes up a shot? Like there's practical shit, there's comping, there's blah, 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 there's this, there's that. Like, it's all comped together in one big thing. And a lot of it is just live action, just layered in from different, like no visual effects person would ever be like, we must do this entire thing in flame.
Yeah,
that's it. You have to render everything this way, and that we're not going to do it. Like, no one's going to say like you have to render an entire frame in AI. Like, it just becomes whatever it is, just becomes an element.
It's just part
and
of
that's
the thing.
true for this is what's true for acting. You know,
so this gets to the point of what I was trying to say is like, the problem is that a lot of the tech industry has been pushing this as this is going to replace everything, and therefore they've been piping it as that, right? As opposed to what can we make these tools so you can do exactly what both Ben and Rob and what everyone's saying is like, I want a little bit of AI here and I want a little bit of this, and it's all got to work together, right?
Yeah. Well,
like what does it need to be so it can work out?
Well, I have a question for Rob. So like this is interesting because like there is a question, this is from a conversation that I had with your wife, Chris, which I thought was really fascinating. Is like, now I was like, I'm a self-trained illustrator, right? And I've been an artist my whole life, making money at it, doing all this stuff. I started in pen and ink, and I can paint all that stuff, natural media. I mainly paint in Photoshop, right? And this, like, how come they make movies about, say, Da Vinci painting, right? And just like, there he is, mixing the paint, looking at the light on the canvas, and here it is. They're never making a Photoshop movie.
I think you should.
Like, they're never going to do that. It's the same fucking hard work, I promise you.
It is.
Same thing.
I agree.
Right? But there's a romantic context to certain kinds of tools that becomes part of the story for the people that are experiencing the artwork. And I'm not saying this is good or bad, right? But people do, like, what people experience outside, how they frame a piece of art for themselves, whether it's like, oh, this actor is such a good person, or oh, this director is a terrible person, or oh, this was made entirely in stop motion, or whatever. Like, that flavors, that becomes part of the work of art for them, for some people, right? And often for me, largely for me, I don't care at all. But like, I understand it. It is part, like, I just talked about Michael Mann. Like, if I met Michael Mann on the street, I just pass out before I could shake his hand. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, I'm in the bag. I understand what being in the bag is. But with certain kinds of things like AI, like, if you don't know, like, if you don't know how something was made, if you don't know what Brad Pitt was thinking when he was doing this take that made you cry, does it actually matter, or does it contextually matter?
It ends up being kind of part of the experience. And Ben Affleck and Matt Damon go into this on a Rogan podcast where they talk about somebody, and I'll let you guys listen to it. Somebody went through something traumatic as a child, and they had somebody pass away due to cancer or whatever, something, obviously very traumatic event. And at some point, like, somebody pulled the bed sheet over their head like this to protect themselves from this news or whatever it was. And the actor was able to draw from that human experience and put it into the film. And that was improv. That was part of the experience that this person had in life. And so you do that. It's like, whoa, that's heavy. And this is where I go back to the real humans and all this stuff. And I'll go into the whole, how I think all this AI and whatever, this literally computer generated imagery. This is actually computer generated imaging versus
100%. You're right. I didn't think about it that way, but it is.
We're finally there, guys. We're finally at CGI. It took us a minute.
It ruins everything.
But that's the connection. And kind of, Ben, to your point about, do I need somebody walking in a building? The answer is maybe not. It's obviously budget dependent. I was on a film where the cadence of someone's walk was done 15 times.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
It was because the level of intent of how this individual entered a room was super specific, and the director was hyper focused on it. And in the end, you're watching it, and on the day, you're like, oh man, is this worth it? And then you watch it in the cut and you go, yeah, the 14th take was the right one.
Can I drill in on that a little bit? I think what you're saying is really interesting. Okay. So what prevents people, I think this is a mindset people have about this. What prevents people from redoing anything with any tool, AI or whatever, 1,000 times until it's exactly what you want? Like,
I mean,
this is the thing. Like, I mean, like, if I look at something as a director, when I look at things, if it's not right, it's not right.
Oh, Danny, I used to be, look, as someone who used to be, a VFX compositor, I used to be the one removing the crafty truck from the back right corner of the shop. And so I would sit there in my, comfy room with the coffee that the runner would bring me, being like, God, why didn't they just drive that crafty truck out of there? It would have been so much easier and smarter.
Right.
And then now as a director, I'm like, no, leave the crafty truck. Sunsetting.
Go.
We gotta go.
That. That's okay. I can't get the sunset back. Yeah. Right.
And you see it. I mean, again, I want to come back to I would caveat, we shouldn't talk about anything as all or nothing ever again, because so much of, Rob, the 14 takes of walking up the steps to the courthouse, my guess is the budget on that is higher than the budget my students have. My guess is that the intent is different. My guess is that the context is different. I think we will miss incredible opportunities if we don't kind of nuance some of these things into, sort of how it fits into, like, Danny, I think what you're alluding to is like, how does this fit into my actual shooting day? How does this fit into my budget? How does this fit into actor availability? How does this, there's just so many of these things. And so for me, I like thinking of these tools as like, okay, wait, if we can't get it this way, I could at least do half of it that way.
Well, here's my question, just to go back to that example of the walking up the courthouse, which is, I think, a really great way to illustrate what my question is. why is it that Rob feels that you can only do this with a real person because they can work on it? Why can't you get the AI, give it 14 times to try to get it right? Why is it so
my essential
hard?
Question, yeah.
Why is it so hard to direct the AI the same way that you can direct a real person?
And man, I want to put a little spin on that ball, because like the thing is that like if like the only reason to use any tool is because it's the fastest version to get exactly what you want.
Right.
Like because like there's a thing that you want,
Or the
and cheapest is fastest. Like cheapest and fastest are
Not
basically
always.
the same. Well, no, I mean like it's the same math is
I
happening.
can blow
in my
up
mind.
a mountain. That's real fast.
Yeah, no, like it's just like meaning that it gives me more time is what I mean by fast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I
Sure.
want more time so that I can have the time to have more room to make the right decisions and solve problems. Like that's what I want to do every day. Right. And so if I have a tool, whatever the tool is, say the tool is Brad Pitt's a great actor. Right. There's this other actor who's better than Brad Pitt, but that guy is 100 takes minimum, right? Brad Pitt's a really good actor, and we need this. This is what's in my mind. Let's get Brad. And Brad's 56 takes, Brad. But here we are. And he gets it. Okay, he's got it. And we move on. I'm not like saying, and I think you said the same thing, but David Fincher has said this. It's like, it's like you do 100 takes, not because it's fun. It's because 99 of them are wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, but then Danny, my students, my directing students, they've only heard David Fincher say we do 99 takes. And so when they show up in class and the assignment's half done and I go, what's up? They go, yeah, dude, we spent way too long on this one thing, but we finally got it right. And this, by the way, Chris, this will be an end goal for my personal conversation is like, I teach my students the 4 F's of sort of digital filmmaking. Mm-hmm. Number 4, and the most important, I'll start at the end, is finishing. And so to me, I think like everything we're about to talk about is like, I think a lot of times
1 through 4, yes.
Yeah, by the way, the other 3 are also finishing. No, they're not. But like in my 4 F's, number 4 is finishing, and it is the most important.
Yeah.
And I'm super lucky in that I'm a commercial director. My projects run shorter, and then someone inevitably takes it away from me and then puts it on television for the world to see. So I'm fortunate in that I can't labor on it too long. But I would say the ultimate goal is finishing. Mm-hmm. And so when we get into like intent and purpose, like control is a slider, quality is a slider. I love all of those things. And I don't want to forever be a schlocky commercial director, but I can't stress enough. We're all filmmakers. We all know people who've never finished anything.
Yeah,
right?
But look at the Holy Grail. They never finished that, and it was great.
This is very true. But they finished it because like they abandoned it at the right time. Like that's
Well, and by the way,
Scott
they got
said a movie's never done. It's just abandoned.
It's just abandoned.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is like
So,
this is
but
like
that's
what,
a
I think
form
that's
of
what you're saying, Ben.
finishing,
It's like every day you face this. Like you need to get the movie done.
Yeah.
Right? And you will abandon things all the time as you go.
Yeah.
That's your job, is to know when to abandon it.
Correct.
And so the thing that solves the problem, this is what I mean by fastest, is like the thing that solved the problem the fastest is the right choice, because you go, I have this in my mind, this or better is what I want, right? So what tools we got? This, and this? Okay, use that.
Yep.
Because I got to get the fuck out the door.
Yep.
Like that's that. And so like with, like I hear what you're saying, Rob, with the, like, there's certain, like, if the fastest tool is a human performance, that's
for sure.
the tool.
100%. Okay, so Daniel
why
and
would
I
you
can
use AI?
Daniel and I can attest to this 100% because of our VidViz test, right? Because we did. And just to recap a little bit of what our VidViz thing is we literally wanted to do a previs, but with real actors, as opposed to just an animated stick figure, right? Which is what we're used to seeing. And we basically just went in front of a blue screen and we used a version of Vantage to essentially create a virtual production sort of on the super cheap and on the fast way to do it. And Daniel could direct the actors like so quickly. way quicker than an animator at third floor could do what he needed to do, and still not get it there. Not to put down any of the animators at third floor.
Well, but why waste their time when they're so good at what they do? Why waste their time on this? Like this is about acting values. This is about the story.
So there is definitely values to doing that, and like you said, if the quickest tool is a live actor and a real camera, then do that.
Yeah, I mean, I always start with that, right? Like I've had director meetings, and I go, okay, hey guys, I hate visual effects. I'm the visual effects supervisor that hates visual effects, and they go, what? That's weird. And I go, we're the worst. We take a long time. We cost a lot of money. Nobody knows what we do all day. We're the worst department of all time. We are all three of the things that everybody hates about filmmaking.
I am here to rip you off.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what it feels like from our department. And so a lot of times, and what I'll tell, producers and directors that I meet with, I go, my goal one day is to work on a film and to plan it so well with the SFX department, the stunt department, wardrobe, all the incredibly talented humans that are part of this process. And that when we wrap principal photography, I'm fired because I've avoided all of these huge time.
You don't need me to come in and fix anything.
It's done. Or I have 2 months of work to do because I have to do boom mic removals or things like that. If I ever achieve that, that will be the last thing I ever do in the industry, and I will mic drop it. It'll be the ultimate achievement of my entire career. Every laughs. They go, ha ha.
There's another quick thing that, and it just came to mind is like like I said, the Oscars coming out, and Autumn was she was the DP on Sinners. She was on the podcast. I'm super excited for her. Yay, go Autumn. Anyway, she liked to shoot on film, and she was the first woman, by the way, ever to shoot on IMAX, which is the craziest thing, right?
That took a substantial amount of time. That took too long.
And she's like, am I really the first woman? And she's like, yeah. It's like, that's ridiculous that I'm the first woman to shoot on IMAX. Anyway, she's one of the reason she likes shooting on IMAX or shooting on film in general, because she also shot The Last Showgirl, is it brings a level of discipline so you don't fuck things up.
I think that's an excellent point.
Yeah,
I think that's an excellent point. Yeah. Because
then he's like, oh, it's on film. We can't just fucking waste our time here.
Rob, is this like this kind of touches on what you're saying? I think in that one of the there's plenty I have plenty of good things to say about AI. But if I were to say there's a problem with AI, is that it makes it very easy to go, I guess that's good enough. Right?
Oh my God,
the good enough thing. There's a band that I listen to.
When you say that,
flames coming out of my ears.
I'm glad I asked the question. Everyone wanted to talk. That's amazing. Let's start with Rob, though.
That's 88% of film and television.
There's a
right. I think,
sure.
and again, we stop down and we talk about Fincher and Blade Runner, and we're talking about the Usain Bolts of our art form. And So I would just, again, and I'm not here to defend AI. I have my own quandaries and I stay up late at night, and doom spirals. But I would just argue, I think we're assigning things to AI that we've willfully
do anyway
in everything. Right? We ignore it in the 98 other channels we never go look at.
So, then if I were to reverse it then, what would it sound like? Because I also had the pleasure of talking to Ben's class that he taught on this very thing. And I said, I was like, I think that AI might be the hardest art form to practice. And that people thought that was a very weird thing to say.
Yeah.
And I was like, because it requires...
You have to express real intent.
Well, it requires almost no discipline to produce something that is fine.
Yep.
Right. And that is the greatest danger to an artist, not to art, but to an artist.
Fuck
period.
Fine.
Oh, right. Fuck fine.
Fuck you, and you're fine. Fine isn't good enough. There's a band I listen to called Immure.
Yeah, good enough is not good enough,
no,
right? Good enough is not good enough. And so, the value of something like oil paint. I've used this example many times, but the value of something like oil paint is it's super fucking hard, and it takes 10 years to figure out how to even do it kind of right. And so every day in those 10 years, oil paint asks you, you sure you want to ram your head against me again? Because you're still not good enough to get that image out of your heart, right?
Yep.
That's where you learn discipline. And discipline is discipline about your, not just the vision you have inside yourself, but discipline about listening to your environment and seeing the opportunities within it that also electrify you, right? And being aware of when things are beautiful. That is what being an artist is. And going, that's it right there. I got it. So out of that, I just want just the capper on this is that with that process is possible to me with literally any tool at all. Macaroni and 2 dimes. You can still do this. Yeah. But when something looks pretty good right off the bat, and it's late at night, it is tempting to anybody to go, yeah, that's fine. But what is required of anyone using AI is the same discipline as oil paint, as anything, as being a great novelist. And if you're going to produce something that's truly great, it doesn't matter what the tool is. You have to work as hard as that.
The way I like to do it is just get it. It's like, it's good for now, and I'm going to fix it later, and I'm going to keep fixing it until I run out of time. But at least I'll finish, right? Yeah. That's the Ben's point. Okay, so one other thing that came up, because it's just talked about that's good enough. There's an article that came out with Gore Verbinski, who, I don't know if you guys saw the article, it's in PC Gamer magazine, but essentially he said the CG in movies started to go downhill and started to suck when Unreal came out and started to be used in films. He literally used the word Unreal.
He called out Unreal itself.
He called out Unreal.
Wow.
Right? Now, Gore Verbinski comes from...
Is it used that much in film? Is Unreal?
No, not necessarily. It is to some extent virtual production or in previs and a bunch of things, right?
Got you. So in the process.
But he basically says, like, we used it because Gore comes from, he actually was a digital artist, so he used to use Maya and compositing and all that stuff. Yeah. And so he said, like, it's like, we used to sit there and scrutinize on the subsurface scattering, quality, et cetera. But his point is that the tool can't get there all the way. So it was like, I guess it's good enough, right? And so that's how it puts out there. Now, what's interesting is he put that article out there. It's in PC Gamer magazine, and was like, oh, not even a day later, a new article came out with a response from Epic Games about this, saying it's like, it's not the tool, it's the artists. Now Epic is blaming the artist for not using their tool correctly, which I get to some extent, but it's really funny that it's like...
Epic came out with an article called, I hate you, Gore Verbinski. I hate you. The last movie was stupid. Whoa.
At what point do we collectively stop talking about art and just talk about budgets? Like, to me, it's like, I love a Gore Verbinski story because I'm like, yeah, sure. If you have Pirates of the Caribbean budget, then fuck yeah, of course. It's good. It was my, Danny, you and I were laughing about this, but it was, listening to Guillermo del Toro be like, fuck AI. And it was, and then hearing that, like, Guillermo del Toro had built the entire 3-masted ship from Frankenstein inside of a soundstage with an ice flow. Yes. If you can do that, fuck AI. But by the way, I've worked
for Guillermo del Toro. $35 million to build a set.
And Guillermo del Toro has been using AI for 30 years. It's just called Other People, right? It was Bleak House. It was Murata. It was Motion Theory. He had dozens of artists. He would come in and be like, I think the spine from the Jaeger that they used to control it should sort of trigger this. He used to call it the Mexican horror component. And then everyone would just start going at it. That was his AI. And so, again, I think as an independent filmmaker, I'm constantly just sort of like, I'm troubled by anyone who's got all the money in the world and talks about how you should do things as though you have all the money in the world. To me, that whole story is like, I can drop, I make between 20 and 30 commercials a year. Like, I can just tell you, like, budgets matter. And we can't keep saying, like, it's all the artists and who cares and who does. It's like, budgets matter. If you can't pay people and they can't stay on long and they go hungry, that's one of the F's, by the way. It's one of the F's.
Well, like, because for
budgets just with B, by the way.
Funding. Funding is one of the F's.
I've had the pleasure. I've had the pleasure of being
I
on
am
Ben's...
Cajun. Right then, I was like, oh shit, note to self, and I didn't even write it.
I've had the
'Cause
pleasure of
I'm
being
in
on
it.
Ben's sets, and he has helped us out greatly. And he has directed some of the funniest fucking stuff I've ever seen on screen in my entire life.
Oh,
And
yeah, hell yeah.
and he's done this at every level, at the biggest possible production level, and at literally shooting in a friend's basement level. And the same attitude comes through at every stage of that process, which is like, this has got to be super funny and great. And we only have $6. It's got to be super funny and great. We got $1 million from, for this ad. It's got to be super funny and great. And like, that is the discipline. Like, you're not there to sell AI. You're not there to say, oh, well, if we just get the right fucking camera, then the movie will be good. Like, none of that's true. Like, I do believe that, say, like, some kid who is, living like in a far less rich country than the United States, right? Who only has a phone, does have the ability now, like, they will always have the ability to go and make a really cool movie. Like, they'll just do it on the, with fucking toilet paper rolls and do the whole, like Michel Gondry's Swede thing, then that's great. But for that to get anywhere is hard, right? If that kid loves Star Wars and wants to work on a Star Wars movie, like, the chances of him getting to Hollywood or whatever to work on a Star Wars movie were extremely small up until recently. But now, within the next 5 or 6 years, they will be able to make a movie with elements on their phone and tools on their phone that will look competitive with anything else, right? And if they are good filmmakers, then it will look and play the way they want it to, and it will play in a global market against other filmmakers.
Like
And
Kane,
I feel like
Kane Parsons might be an example of that. So he did the back rooms. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Oh yeah, bingo.
Right? The back rooms,
Yeah.
like, it's weird. It's unsettling. Weird, not in a negative way. I just want to make sure I'm very clear on that. It's like you look at
It's cool.
That's freaky. It's messing with my brain. He's a good storyteller, and he's using whatever tools he has available, and he does the best job he can. But his goal as a filmmaker, don't leave anything on the table.
Yeah.
Right?
Do it.
He's going to settle when he can't stay awake anymore working on it. I mean, I don't know this gentleman, but just from the vibe that I get and things I've read.
The level of the work clearly shows that he cares.
But Rob, you know who is the AI version of that filmmaker?
Who's that?
Rob Nederhorst.
Yeah, baby.
So 2 years ago, I showed your horror short as one of the examples in my AI class. 2.5 years ago, I showed your horror short as one of the examples of how to use AI in a film.
Because
the two actors sitting at the diner table and the memories and the thing and the blood and that to me was the AI equivalent of that, where it was like, it was spotless, it was well thought out, it was really creative, and it was Rob Nederhorst.
And it's orders of magnitude better than anything else around it, because it's filmmaking.
You guys are bringing me to my question, which is great. Like Autumn was saying, is like, I like to use film because it brings a certain level of discipline to what I'm doing. What is the level of discipline that you can use? Okay, with AI is finishing, but how do you get away from the it's good enough situation to like, I got what I needed? Like, how does that tool, that's the art. So how do you do that with AI? How do you like get through to like, it can be better? Because sometimes I feel when I'm using AI, I'll be very honest with you, it's very hard to get percentages of better in AI right now. It's always like, I guess I got to throw it away and try it again.
The tools are very weak right now.
Chris, so this is something for everyone listening to remember. It's like AI is gifted at, it will get you 50% of the way there for zero effort. So in 1 minute, you're half the way there. Right. And then give yourself another hour and you're 75% of the way there. This is what absolutely blows my mind. The trouble is exactly what you're talking about, which is between 75 and getting towards 100. It becomes exponential to the degree of impossibility.
Yeah. And you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this part in AI then?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that is where you have to choose what AI does well and what it does poorly. Mm-hmm. And you have to abandon what it does poorly, because the trouble is the methadone of proximity, right? The methadone of like it's really close, and the actor kind of turned their head at the right time, and I'm just gonna keep tweaking. it'll never get there. And so you have to, Rob, and I think your example is perfect. It's like emotional close-ups. You have to abandon them. Doesn't matter that the new LTX does audio and video. It's all got to go. You just got to abandon it. Yeah. But you start looking at like some of the, the new filmmakers who have chosen to put characters in masks, or, the hero's wearing a motorcycle helmet as he robs the bank. It's like, all right, cool. Now you've definitely
boring.
What's that?
I want nothing to do with that. I've seen those things, and I'm just going to go out and say it, and I'll probably get blackballed for this. Those things fucking suck. They suck. They're terrible.
What are you comparing? Do you mind me asking? What are you comparing them to?
I'm comparing it to sitting on the toilet. Like it.
Okay.
I don't know if I've emphatically said that well enough.
Wait a minute. Can we back up? I get a lot of reading done this way, so he can't be that bad.
It's unwatchable dreck.
Right.
Why? It's just bad filmmaking, right? Mm-hmm. You're saying, hey, this technology restricts me, so I'm going to put person in a motorcycle helmet.
Oh, you got to be kidding me, Rob! Pluribus on Apple has an episode.
I haven't seen it yet. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Great. I won't spoil anything. But there's an episode in Pluribus, one of
the one where the main character is killed.
Not one of the best shows in the last 3 years. There's a moment where this character who's supposed to be alone in an entire city. All the lights are out in the city, and for no reason at all, the character just calls in and goes, I want the city lights turned back on. Because Vince Gilligan knew I have a limitation, which is if in every exterior shot at night, I have to remove all the lights of the city, we will go bankrupt. So the idea of like, and again, listen, I want us to be on the throne and shit on everyone who doesn't have money. But I am the person who doesn't have money. Like
it's not about money.
Okay, I want to throw something right in the middle of this, in between these 2 points. Okay, so one of my favorite filmmakers is Clint Eastwood, right? Is there a Clint Eastwood movie? Can you name, actually, is there more than, can you name one Clint Eastwood movie that doesn't have one clunky performance in it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think every single one does. And these are some of the best movies ever made. Made.
But that's any film. You're going to have a moment where it's like, oh, that's
but distinctly with Eastwood, he's just like, and here you have Meryl Streep, and here I'm going to be in this incredibly emotional story, and here's my buddy Phil. I don't know when he was coming by today. He's going to be a key moment for about 20 minutes. Okay, back to the movie. And now, does that fuck up Bridges in Madison County? No. Cry my eyes out wholesale at the end.
$1 Million Baby. The mom in $1 Million Baby just murders me. She comes on screen and like you see her reading the cue card off to her right. Like it's a Saturday Night Live skit. She's like,
what?
Well, honey.
Does it fuck up the movie? No, not really. And so like the thing is that anything that comes in, any one thing that ruins a movie for me, right? I probably have a greater attachment to that thing pissing me off than I do about the movie actually being bad. That's all I'm saying. With the motorcycle example, I bet the rest of the movie is also shitty. Like, whereas, like
for example,
I'll tell you, and it may be that's a symptom of it. I agree with you.
We for example, like I'll just put it this way: like sometimes these restrictions that you're like, oh, we got to save some money because we can't pull this off in VFX or whatever. Like your Pluribus example is actually a very good one. I didn't think of it, but I was like, that's actually a good, and it made for a good story point, right?
Made for a great,
it makes a great story point.
So when you have those restrictions, sometimes you think of creative things that actually enhance it more than restrict it, right? I know Daniel and I were working on a VidViz for another scene, not the scene that we put out publicly. I think you guys might have seen it, but it's the final scene, right? Where there's a baby involved in it. It was a final scene. And we had it originally designed in a different way where there's going to need to be much more camera work, a lot more involvement, and actual visual effects and CG.
Kind of this complex
challenging
thing,
complicated thing. And then someone called out as like, "Hey, that's going to be challenging, and plus it doesn't make any sense."
It was just like, I don't think that shot works. And I was like,
and then suddenly we came up with a different shot that not only hid most of the effect and everything else. Was so much more beautiful, and was basically like
we came up with this on the day, right?
Yeah,
and we had time to shoot it because we had planned everything else so well, and we shot it so fast.
Right.
Like we were just like, because we were
Let's
able to
try
blend
this
through all this
alternate
stuff,
shot. Yeah.
we had the 6 or 7 minutes we needed to attempt this other thing. And the moment we set it up and filmed it, I could hear people in the set go, "Oh fuck, yeah, that's great." I was like,
Oh, nice.
"Oh, why did I fuck it up to begin with?" But yeah, that is
Yeah.
great. You know, like
Yeah.
this is what I meant by like being.
And I think that's the thing with like, I'm just gonna put it this way. If you have AI tools where you could frame it anywhere and do anything,
Right.
sometimes you don't explore those restrictions sometimes. You know what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like because the thing is like David Lynch said this, God bless that guy. He's like, your job is to know when it's right. That's the only it's the only job there is as an artist. Like and when you look at it, and because like when you look at something, say for instance like a sunset, and I use this all the time, but you look at a sunset and you take a photograph of it, right? You didn't do anything to produce that sunset. You had nothing to do with the chemicals. You had nothing to do with the sun. You had nothing to do with anything that is happening, or the bird that accidentally flew and that is shot just at the right moment. You capture it and you look at it and you're like, oh fuck, that is it. Why is it it? Because you with your camera, you imprinted a moment of you feeling something onto a media, right? And it's because you thought it was beautiful. And if you are open to it, whether you have it pre-designed what the shot's going to be like or not, you can set it up as much as you want. But the thing that you capture and say this is art is the one where you feel it. Like that's the fingerprint of your heart on the media, right?
Yeah.
And when somebody sees that media, like, because I am a human and you are a human, like, there's no psychic connection happening between us. It's just that we have almost the same makeup and we feel the same things from the same stimuli. We can decode that fingerprint and we feel it. And it doesn't matter who the fuck made it, or if I took the photo and I was just like, that Nederhorst jerk is going to think that's great. And meanwhile, you're crying. Like, you're the one who's right because you're the one who's having the emotion. Even if I was lying, you're having the emotion. And so you, as the receiver of the art, caught the beauty. Right? It's the same job on both ends. And that's how I feel about like tools or any of this stuff. It's just like tools are just fucking tools, man. Like, it doesn't matter. Use like everything about getting a day done of art is just business.
But
get it fucking done.
But isn't this the problem? Is that right now? So here's the problem I have with specifically some of the way that AI tools have been presented to the world. Is they've been presented to the world by a bunch of tech bros that say this is going to replace all the creative people.
No.
Right? And that's
literally impossible.
That's not fair and
Chris,
wrong.
Do you mind if I double tap on that really quick?
Yes, please.
I think this is a big thing that I think this is one of the most troubling components of all of AI filmmaking for me, is that I think it's part of what drives sort of both all or nothing conversations, is that there's $1 trillion of marketing saying AI is going to take over everything. It's $1 trillion. So there's $1 trillion going into saying, like, every conversation about AGI from, Sam Altman in very hushed, gentle tones. He's actually saying to your boss, like, hey, I'm gonna let you fire, I'm gonna let you fire Dan and Chris and Rob and Ben, right? Like, I'm gonna let you save that money. So there's $1 trillion saying it's everything over here. And I think it's probably why the response is like, it's slop over here, right? And I think that's a big part of why those two things together. It also leads to this other problem in the middle, which is that like people feel like they're doing it wrong. I think this leads to like why more people don't finish things and it doesn't get used. And Rob, you're right. Like, it doesn't get used in better ways. Most of it is camera testers, right? It's most everyone out there is Philip Bloom, who, God bless, I hope he had an illustrious career, but like, I just remember him as testing Canon 5D lenses.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, like, and I do hope he had an incredible career, but like, and that was even just one dude. I think part of the problem in these two all or nothing conversations is the artists are now stuck in the middle, a little afraid to finish things, a little afraid to put things out, a little. I mean, I put out the Allstate commercial, and I got so many angry DMs. that today I did a little making of behind the scenes that just talked about how many people were involved. Because and I get it, it's fine. Everyone's going to be angry, but these sort of all or nothing conversations, I do think part of it is that both sides have pulled to the far edge, but really it's all this space in the middle,
spectrum,
right? It's the iceberg, right? There's that sort of the 10% that's above water and the 90 below. That's the other thing, by the way. We're all talking about final pixels and final story.
Right.
But like, I just want to throw together a quick previs, which by the way, we have to talk about y'all's VidViz. I just want to throw together a quick previs of, Space Captain running up the space courthouse steps. AI is just amazing to get the length of that shot and sort of the angle. And I'm using Higgs field or Comfy UI to move the camera around. I do think that's the other thing is it would also be a trap to only talk about that above the water 10%.
Yeah.
And miss out on all the gifts of production design, casting specs, pre-visualization, style frames, mood boards, like to miss all those things that happen below the water that the audience will never see.
And to talk about how the tools will develop and change because the pressure that's being put on them, like, it's not like VFX artists look at this and go like, thank God I was looking for a button that would do all of my work for me. I didn't like doing my work.
As a director, I hate directing people.
Well, I'm going to let it pick up lenses.
Button.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to let it frame the shot. I just want to hang out by Crafty and Twizzlers. Like, you want as much control as you possibly can.
Do you remember when what's it called? Back in the 60s, the Painters Union tried to outlaw paint rollers.
Oh wow!
Because they would people could paint their own houses very easily and not have to hire a paint union.
Right. My God.
Anyway, just putting that out there as an example. All right, because I know our time is limited. Ben, what do you want to ask about VidViz? We can get into.
I want to talk about y'all's VidViz, which is like, to me, that's a perfect example of what we're talking about, which is, obviously I saw your first VidViz and then I saw the polished version of that VidViz.
Right.
And for me, here's how I can give it to you. The emotion I felt in the first one, and again, there's some primacy components here. The emotion I felt in the first one was the same as the emotion I felt in the second one. The, oh my God, this is beautiful came in the second one, right? So there I was just like, this looks fantastic. But the emotion was there.
It's only going to get better from there. That's the point.
Right. But again, I want to preface, if y'all had released 2 hours of that super rough first one, I would have been hooked for both hours. And that to me is a really, really big deal that I think is worth talking about, is like, and again, I know y'all are building to something even more incredible, and I do love that. But these are the things that are eye-opening for me. These are the things that are eye-opening in a way that, like, as things are, we need things faster. Everyone needs it faster. Yeah. Everyone has less money. Everyone, like, as these things go on, I don't know. I just think there's room in the world for your first VidViz, I guess is my story.
Well, and that's sure.
First of all, thank you very much. We're very proud of these things. But like, I think that I think because you and I have talked about this for many, many years now. It's like in fact, we even we have referred to this as Dave's Garage. Like, we should Dave's Garage things, which is when we were filming things in our friend Dave's garage, literally, and you shoot them well. It doesn't matter how cheap they are; they can still be extremely emotionally effective. And or
you do it really, really low, see what works, and enhance.
Well, this is the thing. It's like to speak what Rob opened up with. It's just like don't fall prey to like what delivers the emotion in a performance is the human feeling that you get from it. Right. Yeah. That's it. And it doesn't matter how crafted it is if it's working. Right. Yep. And the shortest way to get there is by using a human. Like that's it. And everything else is just fancified. And now it's great to be fancified. And I think that we come from a generation in which, like, we really, really, like, because we're all Star Wars babies and all this stuff, we love, like, things being ultra cool and ultra fancy. But I can definitely say, from my kids' point of view, like they could give less and less of a fuck about production values, and they only care about human drama, character experience, and real stories. That's it. So the thing that you have to maintain, as fancy as you get, is what you captured in Dave's basement.
Yep.
Like that's the movie you're making.
Right.
That's
That's
it.
the price of entry. That's the price of entry.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's that.
Okay, I do want to bring up one last thing that's going to be a little divergent from this, but it is part of the news and it's something that came up and I thought it was interesting. A lot of people have been talking about, I think, was it Leonardo DiCaprio or I don't remember who it was. But anyway, he talked specifically about how there is this news now about from Netflix where they are specifically designed to dumb down stories because people are watching Netflix while scrolling on their phone.
That was the
Right?
Ben
Yeah,
Affleck, Matt Damon.
It was Ben Affleck, right?
conversation
And he basically said they have to put the highest amount of tension right at the start so that people don't switch to a different show.
Yeah.
Right. And
Been there.
what are your thoughts about that in general and like how this affects, and they have to restate the plot like 6 times an hour.
Yeah. It was Matt Damon talking about The Rip, which, by the way, is still phenomenal.
That's a great
Right.
one.
Yeah,
Had a blast.
It's Damon, it's Affleck, it's Carnahan, it's The Rip.
Yeah.
Obviously, my simple take is that, clearly I hate it. Clearly, we're all struggling to find good movies. Clearly, theaters have a problem. But at the same point, I know it bounces back. That it
Sure.
doesn't last. Like we're all like, imagine that it took Carnahan, Damon, Affleck, and a bunch of other talented artists making a film that's in a crime genre that I really like for me to even halfway stick around. I watched half of it. So if that's what Netflix has and that works in their mechanics, I will say there's trouble with the Warner Brothers stuff. But from a we know it'll bounce back perspective, we know it'll bounce back. It has to, right? And it's, by the way, it only makes Bone Temple better. It only makes Weapons better. It makes Hamnet better. It makes if we've eaten the oatmeal all day, Danny, I'm gonna steal your oatmeal, but if we've eaten the oatmeal all day for 40 days and someone comes in with a steak and sweet potato fries, then that steak and sweet potato fries are only that much more savory. But it's, it is troubling.
The thing is, I
that
think
they
what's
own
really
it.
brilliant, right? It's like Rob, which Wick did you do?
Part 3, sir.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable looking movie. Unbelievable. And like this
And
is
he
like,
paid so much attention to things like the glass
It's-
reflection and all that
it's
stuff.
so
yes.
the thing is like those are all great looking movies, but that is a crazy looking movie. It's an incredible, crazy looking movie.
We
And
had
what's
an incredible
brilliant
team.
about it,
The entire production team, down to every.
and also you were incredible.
And also he was a stunt. He performed one of the stunts in there. Just
Oh my God.
So-
This is amazing. This is amazing. But the greatest thing about your work in that movie is not that it's top tier, unbelievable effects. It's that I didn't notice until I watched it
Nope.
again later.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you are serving the story
That's the goal.
the whole time.
You're not
And then
there
when I
for the
watched
thing,
it
you're
at
there
home
for
on
the
TV, I was like,
spectacle.
fuck, this looks good. Like, but I was in it to win it the whole time. I was like, John Wick, glass, horses, blah, 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 whatever it is. And then at the end, I get it, I rent it, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that is one of the best looking movies I've ever seen in my life. And I never had the time to fall out of it to think that when I was watching it in the movie theater. I was eaten up by it. And that is to me, that is what art is. It's not
that's humbling.
getting technical about like, how did you do these things? It is the fact that when I look at a great piece of art, I'm completely swallowed up by it.
So
Danny, you mentioned horses. Do you remember? I can't remember the Marky Mark film that recently came out from Amazon. That
with the plane?
No, they drive a car into a horse race, and the horses start hitting the car, and they were all. I think they were all animated by my daughter and her 7th grade class. But
they did a really nice job. Hats off to those kids.
I mean, it was one of their merit badges. So her sash is rich with VFX merit badges. But that, thinking about it again, that is terrible only because that story is absolutely abhorrent, right? That this idea that they were driving a car, they made a left, and now they're in a horse track mid race. Like those are the things that broke way before the VFX broke. And you're right. Like Rob, I've probably seen between the 4 Wicks, I've probably watched them 8 or 9 times. Like not each, but probably 2 a piece.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I struggle for things to just put on TV, and I'm not going to put on a Netflix film.
Yeah.
There is something really there is something really amazing to like how invisible those effects become and how driven the story
But clearly
is.
they're there, but that's not what's taking you there.
Yeah,
right?
It's driving me into the story.
No. They didn't in John Wick 4. They didn't actually completely destroy, the Arc de Triomphe and did the whole thing and did all that.
But these things, like it's like when we were shooting the VRAD. And out the window of the truck, there's a shot of Rob, right? And he's like, the shot's packed up with all sorts of folks, right? This is an ad for what is outside the window of the train. That is what we are making. What is outside the window of the train is out of focus.
Right.
And what everyone is looking at is Rob is holding up a sandwich like a gun. And the fact that everyone's looking at that means we made the movie correctly.
Wearing a green bodysuit helped. Wearing a skin-tight green bodysuit was check mark.
We knew where the money was, and it was in that
for the
skin-tight green bodysuit on Rob, holding a sandwich.
Oh, the ladies kind of is like, the ladies were saying, I got so many comments from someone. It's like, Rob is a brave man. Oh, look at that.
That's right. Robust. Oh, boy. I swear to God, we're getting a spinoff out of that thing. I swear.
I like that Rob character. Very good character.
If you do a spinoff, I'm into it.
Oh, dude.
You're always going to be. You're the number one cast person. You're the recurring character. Like, oh God, he's back. Thank God.
Yeah.
I do want to. I know because Ben's got a heart out. So Ben, give us a quick update. What you up to, and what's going on, and what can people look out for? What's going on? Obviously, tell us what's going on at USC. Any commercials going on? What's going on there?
Yeah, keep your eye. Bowl games are over, but the Allstate commercial ran during the bowl game. Gonna shoot a bunch of others. Just did. It's a really good time to be a commercial director. On the other front, still really pushing personal pipelines. Still really pushing. I have a hard. I made this big 360 where I'd started my first classes teaching everyone Comfy UI. And then I just had too many people fall out of it. And I was like, we'll go kind of the closed source models. And we had really generous donations from like Runway and Google VO and Luma and others. And, so then I was like, maybe we go that way. And now I've made a full return to Comfy. And I am really bullish on for anyone who is, anyone who's thinking about any form of like really low budget independent filmmaking that's going to have some, effects or deep space opera or, Western town, those kind of things. I would put a big check mark next to Comfy or Cloud Comfy because I do think we're going to enter an era where we're going to be able to do more and more on our own. So the ability to use something like a Comfy setup and just keep adding nodes and keep again, like the VidViz, getting to a spot where we could film and instantly process. Nuke is kind of doing that, and being able to bring in Comfy and change the change what's outside the house. I think that's the future. But shooting a couple hybrid AI spots that'll be showing up on television, so that'll be fun too.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rob, what about yourself? You're doing a bunch of interesting research too, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm going to circle back just a little bit to one of the Wick things. So, one of my favorite processes of the filmmaking, my favorite parts of the filmmaking process is the audience preview. The audience preview tells me everything. And for the audience who's watching this, if you don't know what that is, when we make a movie, we rent out a theater and we have 300 people watch the film. And there's a scorecard, they ask questions, and it's like a whole process. So that's the TLDR. So what I'm doing is during moments where I'm not sure if what we in the visual effects department are doing to support the story and the narrative and the director's vision. I'm like, is something good enough? I don't watch the movie. I watch the audience and I see reactions. And there are a couple of moments in Wick 3, very specifically. There's one with the knife in the eye at the very beginning during that knife fight, where I remember I knew it was coming because I'd seen the movie 3,000 times, and I turned around, and at some point people weren't squirming in their seats, and I was like, fail. This is a fail.
Yeah.
Right. I called the vendor. I said, look, your work is beautiful. It's incredible. It was Method Australia, Allura, Method, Frame Store, whatever. I think they were Method at the time that I was working with them. I remember talking to Glenn Nederhorst, who was a supervisor. I said, do me a favor. Next time you see the shot, put it in the screening room, bring in people who haven't seen it. If they don't physically move in their seats, go further. I want the people who are working on the shot to be uncomfortable with the shot. And when you do that, it will play. And the next version that we got, it took a while. Again, quality takes time. It's just very simple. The next time we got it, I went, oh, that's great. And I went, oh, I did it. I had the reaction. Holy crap. We put it in and everybody went, oh, holy shit. It was a whole thing. In the next preview we did, the entire audience physically shifted in their seats. And I went, that's how we do it. And there was another moment. There's a moment during the Continental attack where Wick does a press and he's like just going with the guy. He's like, and just blood is splattering. And then there's like a shotgun where we blow like half a dude's head off. And once again, I'm looking for that visceral reaction. Yeah. John Wick is not about subtlety. That's not what we do here, is what I kept telling the vendors. Right. I'm like, this is not a subtle film. He kills 182-ish people. That was about a dog 2 movies ago. We're still going.
Exactly.
Don't be subtle. If you think you've gone far enough, take it to 11. We will dial you back. The only time that we were dialed back in that film was during that shotgun blast. So Wick is on top of something and he just blasts out one of the Continental dudes. And we literally did the whole cavitation in the skull. Yeah. Goo was everywhere. It's a very quick shot. It's very quick. But I remember sitting in a DI suite at Company 3. And I've got Mr. Chad Stahelski, the director, next to me. And on the other side is Basil Ivanek, and who's one of the producers over at Thunder Road. And he saw that and he goes, stop. And the DI person stops and he goes, no, nope. He goes, we don't do gore. We do violence. And I went, fascinating. We took it too far. We dialed it back and he went with it. Same with the press, just a little too much. And that's a lot of times how I'll view things. I will watch the audience and see how they react.
That's the only thing that's ever happening, dude. And I'm not paying $20 to walk out and say, I guess that was okay.
Yeah. Same thing. We did the same thing on Conjuring. We watched the audience.
Or what do you want to do for dinner?
What do you want to do for dinner? I want to be like, did you see that fucking eye? It was nuts.
Yeah. All those moments are super important. And I treat all those moments with, the highest level of importance for everything, because they're all little tiny paper cuts to the whole.
I love it.
If one of them doesn't work as well as it should, then the filmmaking team, we got to go back and make sure that we're engaging with the audience as much as possible.
Amen, dude. It's like the grossest thing that happens in The Thing. Every time I watch it, I've watched the movie 100 times if I watch it once. It's not all the crazy ones. It's the knife across the thumb. Every time I see it, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Dignan hits Anthony with a wrench, and it's the greatest flinch in movie history.
You do it right. There's nothing better. It rings the bell.
I just, because I want to respect Ben's timeout, but I do want to say, this, when I saw the Oscar list today for the nominations, it got me so excited because it validated everything we're saying, right?
Yeah, it's real movies.
Think movies are back. And I know they're not big movies. They're not expensive movies. They're weird. Marty Supreme has made $100 million. That is a weird ass fucking movie.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
That is an art film, and it's a huge hit. So I think this got me excited. the type of tools, type of AI tools that we've been discussing, we're not going into details about it. We're talking to much more on a big picture area, which is exactly where I want it to be. That's going to enable to say, what can I do to make my movie come across? And I can do it with the budget I have. Budget starts with an F, but
Yep.
That's it. Budget.
That's it. Dude. That's it.
All right.
Guys,
thank you guys
awesome.
so much.
That was awesome. That was excellent.
Thank you guys so much for doing this. We will do it again if you guys are cool with it. So, but if you have ideas, it's like, oh, we got to do another one to talk about this, let me know. Okay.
I love it. Thank you all so much for having me.
Yeah. Excellent. Good to see you guys. Thanks very much.
Everybody.